Leon Trotsky thinks Shirhatsky. How would the 20th century and communist history had been different if Trotsky had succeeded Lenin rather than Stalin? In 1936, Trotsky wrote, "The Revolution Betrayed." He lamented Stalin's authoritarian turn, noting that planning requires participation and knowledge from the masses. Quote, "A thing which is unthinkable without Soviet democracy." In the last testament of Lenin, he noted Stalin's dangers. Stalin has unlimited authority concentrated in his hands, and I am not sure whether he will always be capable of using that authority with sufficient caution. Stalin is too coarse. Suggests that the comrades think about a way of removing Stalin and appointing someone who is more tolerant, more polite, and less capricious. And as we know, that didn't happen. Stalin's leadership oversaw the massive man-made famine between 1930 and 32, including the Ukrainian Holodomor, which killed between 5 and 15 million people. The 30s also oversaw Stalin's Great Purge, where up to 5 million government and party members were exiled, murdered, or sent to Siberia. Trotsky eventually moved to Mexico City, where he was friends with, and more, with the artist Frida Kahlo and her husband Diego Rivera. Unfortunately, in 1940, he was murdered with an ice axe by a Stalinist agent. I don't think they picked this weapon up from the Mexican City corner store. Because really lived socialism descended from authoritarian Stalinism, some wonder whether Trotsky's relatively more democratic approach could have changed history, perhaps even dampening the brutal dictatorships of Mao, Pol Pot, and Castro. Trotsky's noting the revolution betrayed is not the first move away from some pure socialist movement. One can say Lenin himself betrayed Marx's vision by quickly eliminating political opposition by force to make the USSR a one-party state. Contemporary revolutionary Rosa Luxemburg privately criticized Lenin's authoritarianism. Lenin and Trotsky's political system is without general elections, without unrestricted freedom of press and assembly, without a free struggle of opinion. Or maybe, and this is going to upset some people, the betrayal came before, when the revolutionaries split with the reformers. The socialist Edward Bernstein called for parliamentary labor reforms. Marx had argued that socialism was the natural next stage after capitalism had completed its series of innovations and technical improvements. Bernstein had noted the rapid improvement in the working class condition in the previous half-century since 1850. He argued more progress would be made by peaceful democratic reform. Considering the better performance of the democratic socialism in the West versus the humanitarian catastrophe of socialism in the East, pragmatic comparison leaves no debate. But the search for pure theory today is a religious-style theological debate continuing amongst Marxist scholars in the tides of time to come.